Kentucky Derby.
Move around the turn. The leader, War Admiral, 2.5 for clear.
Next for it is in the center of the racetrack. The Adams Sloop drawing alongside again.
War Emblem is still there. War Emblem is pulling away. He's got another gear. Yeah, the Swiss they come in the Derby. Wheel away takes command. Lionheart is all heart. Smarty Jones is all out. And here is the first undefeated winner of the Kentucky Derby since Seattle Slow of 1976.
Exciting Saturday to say the least. We have 1 week away from the Kentucky Derby and Oaks. The draw for both races later this afternoon between races 3 and 4 because we are racing live at Churchill Downs. It's the opening of the spring meet. Welcome to the Kentucky Derby Morning Workout Show presented by Twin Spires. Some rain last night, but the track dried out very nicely, and it is a beautiful morning here in Louisville. Take a look at the headlines. Lots going on. Emerging markets so happy they headline yesterday's work tab. We will take a look back on the Oaks work tab yesterday, meaning Prom Queen. They got their final major tune-ups as well. Brad Cox's trio working today. 2 of them have already gone as he gets set to unleash his 3-headed monster on Kentucky Derby 152. Mentioned it's opening day at Churchill Downs, and we do have the Oaks and Derby draws. Looking very forward to those a little bit later on this afternoon. And the undefeated Dan and Bourbon arrived from Japan, one of 3 foreign contenders this year. Let's take a look at Dan and Bourbon getting off the van yesterday, and perfect 3 for 3. He has only gone right-handed so far. He's going to be going left-handed for the first time in Kentucky Derby 152, but he's been visually impressive in all of his races, and I do think he might be the strongest of the foreign trio. Joe Christobeck and Kevin Kilroy joining you here this morning. And Kevin, I mentioned a lot going on. I'm really excited to get back to live racing today at Churchill Downs, and I'm really excited for the draw as well.
Yeah, we've got the 12:45 first post, so day racing for our opening day, and across the city. You know, we got the marathon coming through the track. It's very cool. Hot air balloon races going on. This city becomes electric this time of year, Joe. We get to love every minute of it.
This is playoff time. The Oaks and the Derby are the finals, and we've got our starting 5 here this morning. Kevin and I on the desk. We're going to throw it up to Rosie Napravnik on the 4th floor. And Rosie, big day yesterday. Lots to look forward to today.
Yeah, it's another beautiful day. The track looks great. There's a little bit of moisture in the air, which is great. It helps keep the track pretty tight. We had already this morning, we actually saw Commandment and Further Ado were out early, so we're going to dive into those works during the show, and then Full Effort expected to come out after the break, as well as several others. So we've got a lot of action coming for you this morning, and looking forward to seeing a lot of the Derby and Oaks contenders on the track. Caitlin, what do you have going on back in the backside?
Good to see you this morning, Rosie, and the weather seemed to hold off. It's a beautiful morning back here on the backside here in the Lucas Gap, and we had some arrivals yesterday as well as this morning. Denon Bourbon, you saw the video of him coming off the trailer. I cannot wait for y'all to see him in the flesh. Hopefully he's on the track here this morning. He looks exactly like his sire Maxfield, who's one of the best looking horses I've ever seen. Denon Bourbon is built just like him, looks so much like him. And Renegade also arrived here this morning. Saw a video of him settling down in his stall. Doubt we'll see him out this morning. That's probably going to be a tomorrow thing, but he is here. And as I mentioned, Denon Bourbon getting here. His countryman T.O. Elvis came with him. I believe he's going to run in the Grade 2 Ali Sheba Stakes. So we're going to talk more about them a little bit later on, and the show is going to focus quite a bit on 6th Speed as well. So going to shine the light on some of our international contenders in this year's Run for the Roses. But let's check on in with Ren Carruthers, who's somewhere back there. Good morning, Ren.
I am so excited that you just said Renegade has arrived, because Irad Ortiz is here too, his jockey. Very, very cool. And as you said, lots going on. Commandment Orient track, as you guys have gone over, working in company. Further ado, working solo. We'll see full effort later. I think we're also going to see Riley Moss horses, Incredible Albus, Steve Asmussen with Chip Honcho. So much coming, as well as a pedigree profile on 6-speed. But for now, back to Joe and Kevin in the Aristides Lounge.
Well, thanks, Ren, Caitlin, and Rosie. We're going to take a look at the Kentucky Derby points leaderboard. And tomorrow the graph is going to change to the actual field with the post positions, and not a lot of movement in the Kentucky Derby top 20, which is always a good thing as we take a look at the top 10 and then flip over to the top 20. We got the draw later on today. There'll be a couple of AEs, scratch time late next week, and then we're going to find out exactly who's going to run, Kevin.
You can win the Derby from any post position, Joe. It's all about your running style and who you draw next to and how that relates. So that's what you have to keep in mind as that adds that extra piece to the puzzle in your handicapping.
Here are the horses on the outside looking in, hoping for a defection 2, 3, or even 4 in order to draw, and we will have some AEs on the Kentucky Derby program. All right, so one of the horses that may show some early speed in the field, we'll see where he draws along with the rest of them, is the aptly named 6-speed. We got a lot of great info on him here today, and for more, let's send it back to Caitlin.
Well, thank you, Joe. We are pleased to be joined here on the backside by Jake Ballas, one of the co-owners of 6-Speed. Going to be the first start here in North America for him. And you ended up purchasing him before his tilt in the UAE 2000 Guineas. When did he first grab your attention? Was it right after the debut he had?
It was a race after he won going 7/8, and it was before the UAE Guinness. I was sitting in the airport. I saw it on Twitter, and I looked down, and I called my wife who buys our horses, and she had seen it as well. And he was by Not This Time. And we've had a lot of luck with Not This Time, with Sacred Wish and Cyfair both winning grade 1s. But we watched that race, and I said, man, this could be a horse we could put some partners in, our partners, to try to get us to the Derby and at least get the road to the Derby over in Dubai. It's an easier path than over here, and we don't spend a lot of money on colts over here, but we have a lot of partners that want to get to the Kentucky Derby. So he caught my eye running 7/8, and we were fortunate enough to get a deal done on that Monday before the race was Friday. And we got the money over on Monday and then flew over there to Dubai and watched him win. And next thing you know, here we are, Churchill Downs.
Got the win in the Guineas, as you mentioned, second in the UAE Derby. What do you say to some of the people that are kind of writing this horse off as just speed up front? There's some real possibility that this horse is very rateable in a race like this.
You know, if you go back and look at his 7/8 race, he was 4th sitting on the rail. He broke on top. Other speed went. He's set very kind. He's a smart horse. He's very easy to ride. He's not a runoff. In the last race, the UAE Derby, on paper, there was a ton of speed. And we thought, hey, the filly on the far outside is going to come over. There's other speed. Bupat had Saloom in there with other speed. And our plan was to break. Others were going to come over, and we were going to sit behind because he's not any of the lead type. He just happened to be on the lead by himself. And, yeah, he went really fast that day. But also, it was off a 9-week layoff, and he was fresh. He had run 4 times prior, all kind of back to back to back to back. So the 9-week layoff couldn't really drill on him hard. So just being fresh, 9 weeks, first time going 2 turns, going a mile and 3/16, I think he had every right to get tired at the end. And it was a very deep, demanding track. I don't know if he'll get the mile and a quarter. It's hard to say which horse will and which horse won't get the mile and a quarter right now, but I think he's earned his shot in. He's going to have every right to prove us right or wrong, and we'll see after Saturday how far he can go.
Well, getting forward to that, as you mentioned, the other horses in the UAE Derby, both those horses missed a break. Saloon was also a stablemate, completely, probably almost should have been declared a non-starter. But let's get down to some business. Who are you going to have named on board 6-Speed?
Brian Hernandez is going to ride. And, we haven't had a rider this whole time, and Brian won the Derby 2 years ago. I talked to him yesterday and the day before, and he's open. I think Dallas Stewart may enter one, and it's going to be on the AE list. But we're going to ride Brian. He has experience. He knows the track, and, we're very confident in Brian and what he's done here at Churchill.
I think that's an excellent choice. Well, congratulations, Jake, and looking forward to seeing 6-Speed out on the track this morning. He looked great here yesterday.
Thank you so much.
Brian Hernandez Jr., winner aboard Mystic Dan in 2024. He's going to pilot 6-Speed in the 152nd run for the Roses. Back up to you guys.
Obviously a great choice of rider there, but that isn't the only jockey that's going to get on 6-speed over the course of the next week or so. The other one is Declan Canner, who's got a reputation for giving great feedback, lots of international connections. He's been aboard 6-speed here of late, and here are his thoughts.
So I got on 6-speed this morning, and he had a good look at everything, full of energy. Tomorrow he'll do a bit more. I just let him stretch his legs this morning and have a look around. I believe he's going to work Monday, so he's here in good shape and full of energy. He's a very athletic. He's light mover, light on his feet. I think that the track will be fine for him. He's obviously got speed, and if he could get away with a 47 half mile, he'll take him a long way in the stretch. Typically the derbies are sub 46s, but it's not going to be a slow run derby, but he'll take him a long way for sure.
6-speed, I mean, if he's not on the lead, then the question is who will be, which maybe the post positions will help us visualize that. 6-speed's got a lot more stamina in the pedigree that you might think. At least that's my surfacey view. For a deeper dive, here's Ren Carruthers.
Yeah, I think 6-speed can shift gears here, guys. So he's a son of Not This Time. Sire Sensation. He's been having success all surfaces, all distances. He himself a winner over Churchill Downs. He won the Iroquois here as a 2-year-old. And don't forget, part of the reason he has that surface flexibility, he's a son of Giants Causeway, 2000's Cartier Horse of the Year, who also put in that game runner-up finish to tis now in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Now, if we look at the bottom side of this pedigree, 6-speed is out of the stakes placed Browse. She's a daughter of Medaglia d'Oro. We talked about him a lot. Of his wins, you have the Mile and a Quarter, Midsummer Derby, the Travers Stakes. And then if you look at the second dam, this is where things get really interesting and really, really relevant, guys. So the second dam is multiple graded stakes winner Daydreaming. She's a daughter of AP Indy Hall of Famer. Talked about how he is a son of Triple Crown champion Seattle Slew, and out of Weekend Surprise by another Triple Crown champion, one of the best, in my opinion, the best of all time in Secretariat. But then Daydreaming herself is also a full sister to a lot of really accomplished horses. Among them, though, a horse you may not know is Supercharger. She wasn't flashy on track, but she is the dam of Super Saver, who won the Kentucky Derby. And not only that, this family, the extended family, also includes the likes of Bluegrass Cat, who ran second in the Kentucky Derby as well, won the Haskell Millionaire. So yeah, the credentials are there, guys. So we'll see if 6-speed can really carry that speed or shift gears. It was really nice to hear Jake say that he's tactical.
All right, switching gears from 6-speed to a couple of Brad Cox trainees that went out earlier this morning. Further ado, all 3 wins coming in Kentucky, including the Bluegrass most recently and the Kentucky Jockey Club right here at Churchill Downs, Kevin.
Further ado, could be the favorite, could be the second choice, and deservedly so. I think the big question for Further Ado is not how fast he is. He's got the proven fastest figures of anybody in this field, but who has he beat, Joe? The Bluegrass didn't show up very tough. And of course, looking back at the Kentucky Jockey Club, just Universe, Soldier, and Diplomat, he's going to have his toughest field to face. And in terms of the 2 workers from Brad Cox this morning, it's a tale of gallop outs, both strong moves, but with the sirens going off with a loose horse in the when Further Ado is coming around the bend in the gallop out, he wasn't able to do much along the backside. Not sure if that was according to the design or just because of the circumstance. So Rosie Napravnik's upstairs and got to see this with her own eyes. Rosie, what'd you think about this Kentucky Jockey Club champion?
Yeah, you know, I really like this horse, and as much as you're right, he hasn't run against a super tough group. He was very, very impressive in the Bluegrass, but in this Breeze, he's also very impressive the way that he's just being held together, not wanting to do too much, but he's got his ears pricked almost the whole way and just sort of enjoying himself and you know, tugging on his rider, but still a pretty kind ride. He's got a great stride. He looks very, very good physically. He's not an overly impressive horse, but you can see that he pricked his ear there at the wire and then is allowed to gallop out. He's not a real big horse in person. I saw him real up close in the paddock in the Bluegrass, but he sure has an impressive stride. So this is one that I actually really like, and then the work sort of pushed me a little bit more in his direction as well.
24-3, 36-4, 1 minute and 3 ticks the official time, galloping out 113 and 128. Further ado, and you could tell he likes this racetrack, just the way he moves over it. 2 romping wins at Keeneland, but he likes it here at Churchill Downs as well. Now, Commandment went out after Further Ado. He is your Florida Derby and Fountain of Youth champion. He comes out of Florida, which appears to be the strength this year. He's only got 1 blemish on the resume, Kev.
Yeah, just that debut, which is a little bit of a troubled start there at Keeneland. You know, in the mornings, we're not looking for anything flashy from Commandment. That's just not how he does it. He comes and he does what he has to do, but he's not looking to really show his best in the morning. So what I liked about this move, Joe, is that he kept company again, who kept him honest throughout the early portion of the work, but he put him away coming around the bend, and he galloped out all the way to the track kitchen. That track kitchen just showed me he's got tons of energy. He's got tons in the tanks, tons in the reserves, which is something that we've been loving about Commandment from the get-go. Rosie, is this better than what you've seen from him in the past? Right on par? What were your thoughts?
Yeah, knowing he's not a good workhorse, I just didn't love the way he was moving last in the previous breeze, but he looks fantastic this morning. He stays right with his workmate. You know, they've got him in line, very strategically to keep him motivated in the breeze. But he's well within himself here. I mean, his rider is just sitting still. You can see his elbows are very bent, and he's just sitting back with his weight in his hips and letting the horse run along. But matching strides with the workmate, it looks like they probably picked just the right horse to breeze with him to have this sort of maintenance 5/8. It's going to edge his nose just in front here, and then he'll gallop out here too, which is good. And you can see his rider says, nope, come on, we're going to gallop out. But just a little nudge and he goes right on. So I actually really like this work much better than I liked the work in the previous week.
There was a loose horse on the track. This work got delayed a little bit. Commandment got a little bit antsy, but the work turned out very well, and you'll see his ears on the gallop out here. He is having fun out there. Kevin referenced the track kitchen. He's nowhere near the track kitchen yet. A tremendous gallop out from Commandment. Exactly what you want to see.
And Joe, the track kitchen is that when you're coming back into the far turn, it's that far point there. It's really that nice, that test of whether they can get a mile and a quarter. It's part of the lore of these workouts that we see each year heading to the Derby.
Yeah, so when we say that means it was a huge gallop out. All right, so from this morning and rewinding to yesterday, let's take a look at emerging market. Perfect 2 for 2, the least experienced horse in this field. He's got a grade 2 win, a Louisiana Derby, and just career start number 2, going 1 mile and 3/16, just a little shorter than the Derby, but replicates the Run for the Roses as well as any prep.
Yeah, which is something that maybe we haven't been stressing enough, that Louisiana Derby is such a key prep in terms of thinking about can you get the distance, and he's proven it. He looked fantastic in this move. It was 15th fastest of 92. You can see the time, 47-3 for emerging market. I think he just shows us his stride, his athleticism, and just everything that you want to see from a good moving horse who has always impressed Chad Brown because of his mental maturity. And he's going to have to prove that in the Kentucky Derby because this is a big ask with just 2 starts. Rosie, this chestnut's looking pretty good, don't you think?
Yeah, I really, really love this horse. I've had my eye on him, and, he definitely doesn't look like he's going as fast as he did. Obviously, the track was very fast yesterday, but just well within himself, acts like a professional. He really looks like he's kind to ride. He responds well to his rider, and he gallops out here just sort of under wraps, not being asked, but still moving on and stretching out. I mean, I don't think you could ask for a horse that's coming in with such a question mark, having the inexperience. You really couldn't ask for him to be going any better.
Jockey Flavia Pratt gave trainer Chad Brown the commitment on emerging market early on. You know that both of these gentlemen love this horse. Let's find out more from each.
Emerging market works super. It's just what I was looking for. He got over the track real well. He did it well within himself. He galloped out with good energy. He came back happy, so I'm happy. This horse is always going faster than you think he is. He does everything really easy. It's really all the horse. He's a super talented horse. He's got a great mind on him. Nothing really bothers him. I wouldn't try to do something like this unless I had a horse that I thought could really handle it mentally. And he's actually a very easy horse to train. There's nothing I'm doing, special with him, but just trying to set a schedule up for him that gives him a chance to have success.
He's moving well. He's happy, so that's all we can ask. Obviously, he's bred to go mile and a quarter, and as of now, he didn't show any sign of distance limitation. So yeah, I mean, it's you never know until you run, but it looks like it shouldn't be a problem. I'll try my best, and hopefully we come up with a good result. I think the horse is, like I said, doing very well. So we're going into the race with a positive attitude.
Chad Brown is happy. Flavien Prat is happy. This Kentucky Derby contender is so happy by Run Happy. Comes out of Southern California, where horses have kind of taken turns beating one another, but he's got the most recent victory in the Santa Anita Derby, and he looked good doing it, I thought, Kev.
Yeah, he did. You know, I thought he had a perfect setup with two foes who were dueling throughout, and he was able just to sit behind and take care of them after they kind of tired. So I thought that was a knock, but the time came back really nicely for So Happy. You know, Mark Gladys said he's not an overly impressive workhorse, so that's something to keep in mind. I thought it was sharp, you know, in terms of 8th fastest of the 19, going 5 furlongs, but not much in the gallop out, which is a little bit of a question. He'll be his 3rd time going 2 turns, 1st time with this sort of distance question. So Mike Smith aboard. Rosie, what do you think about this horse? Is he looking happy?
Yeah, I mean, I will say the horse moves really well. I mean, if it's a horse that is just known not to have a good work ethic in the morning, I mean, then you're really expecting there not to be a big gallop out. But honestly, you know, when you have a horse like that, you do what you want him to do. And Mike hits the nail on the head here, going in 1:01. But the horse does look like he's striding out really well. He's a nice, big, rangy horse. And, you know, I think he doesn't show you anything that you don't already know here, and he doesn't really push me in a different direction to make me really love him either. So I mean, he's done kind of everything right. He's shown good performances. He's kind of a question mark, but he sure as heck looked good in this breeze. And yeah, you know, Mike's still like, okay, we're gonna gallop out here. So he's at least willing.
Jockey Mike Smith looking to become the oldest rider to win the Kentucky Derby. This is Mark Glatt's first Kentucky Derby as a trainer. Caught up with him.
I think he was himself this morning. He is just an average workhorse, but he got over the track well, and that was what we were looking for the most. His gallop out was a little stronger than usual today, so all in all, I thought it was solid. It's certainly not nearly as heavy of a surface as Santa Anita, and horses probably get through it a little bit better, but as I said, he kind of looked like his usual self this morning. Keep him healthy and wait for Saturday.
Dawn at the Downs, you see a lot of the racing fans taking in the works, all the action here at Churchill on this beautiful day. Now, earlier we featured 6 Speed. We're going to take a look at the horse that beat him in the UAE Derby. Wonder Dean, he's been here for several weeks at Churchill Downs, and he had to work yesterday, and it was a little bit unconventional, but not to be expected from the Japanese. He was very slow early, and they really got into him late. We're going to take a look at that video right now as we send it over to Kevin. And you know, this is a horse that looks like he has the stamina, Kev, to get the distance. Where does he fit in with the rest of the field is the question.
Yeah, that's the question. I mean, it took him a lot to get out of the gates in the UAE Derby. They really had to ask him. That's always a big question for these shippers in to face American horses. I think that's a key point. He beat a tiring horse there, as we mentioned, with 6 Speed. His connections also mentioned. The work that we saw yesterday is really typical for what we've been seeing from these Japanese runners, where it's a strong gallop and then really set down that work in the lane and just going about 3 furlongs in a quick time. And he did it nicely. I think he's acclimated well. So, Rosie, are you seeing anything that's moving the needle for Wonder Dean for you?
You know, in the breeze, I mean, you can see that he certainly has a turn of foot with him going so easily through the first part of his work. He does pick it up, which is great. But when he turns into the lane here, like probably about the 8th pole, they really they change the intention there, and he just flattens, and he really has a kick. So, I mean, obviously a question mark about his accolades and his talent and his ability to go the mile and a quarter, but like he quickens here. So, I mean, if he's at all gonna be rateable, he certainly has a turn of foot. 15-2
for the opening fraction, 54-2 for the half. He finishes up in 117-4, coming home the final quarter in 23-2, as you can see here. Very impressive. Now, Golden Tempo had his final work yesterday at Keeneland, the LeCompte winner. He battled through the preps in Louisiana at Fairgrounds. He ran a deceivingly good third, I thought, in the Louisiana Derby. And I think, Kevin, he's coming into this race the right way.
He really is, Joe. And could he have won the Louisiana Derby? We saw Jose dive him to the rail, thinking that the horses were going to come out and get in his way. And it makes me think he could have got it done. And if he would have won that race, his price would be much shorter. So we're going to get a fair price on Golden Tempo, which intrigues me to no end. He's inside a Brilliant Birdie, a turf horse, Joe, a classy, greatest stakes turf horse who's a very good workhorse on the dirt. And he's just doing it so nice, as we saw last week with Not Too Worried to his outside. This is another big move from Golden Tempo. This is a maintenance move, as Cherie talked about. Any interest, do you think, Rosie? And what do you think about the blinkers being on? This will be the second race with the blinkers on.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a good work. 47 flat is definitely, a strong maintenance half. But the horse is just going an easy in hand here, where his workmate is, his rider's kind of nudging on the workmate. But I'm sure that was designed well to keep Golden Tempo's confidence up and just have him kind of cruising along. It doesn't look like it's a super strong gallop out, but I'm not sure what the time is there. But they're moving around the turn. The horse is really willing and happy.
Golden Tempo supposed to get here early this morning. The trainer has arrived. Ren standing by with Cherie DeVoe.
Yes, I'm here with Cherie DeVoe at the Gap. Golden Tempo. I gotta tell you, I've been watching the footage of this horse being posted to social media because he's been at Keeneland. Is he still at Keeneland?
He's actually on his way right now.
Okay, that's very exciting. He could not look fitter. My gosh, what a gorgeous horse. He looks every part a classic type.
Most definitely. Early on, first couple races, he was still had a lot of chunk on him and condition. So he's really, from his last race till now, has really shaped up physically.
Well, and that's the thing. He won his first two starts. Then he answered that two-turn test in the LeCompte. And the horses he's run third to, obviously very good horses. He just got beat a length the last out in the Louisiana Derby. He comes on, though, with that run. So I would think the mile and a quarter, you're looking forward to letting him be able to stretch those legs.
Most definitely. Definitely bred for it, and he runs like it. And I am looking forward to that long stretch that we have here at Churchill Downs.
I also look at that pedigree, Curlin over Bernardini. That is like fine wine. It gets better with age, wouldn't you say?
Most definitely.
It's a lot going on for you today. I'm looking forward to seeing you at the draw. And any just final thoughts on Golden Tempo, what he's going to do the rest of the week?
So all the work is done. So we'll just get him here, get him acclimated to the surroundings. But he's a really cool customer, so don't anticipate any issues. But, they're horses and we can't really read their minds. But he's been doing great and just looking forward to getting here and settling into the week.
All right, Golden Tempo looking to shine in the Kentucky Derby.
No female trainer has ever won the Kentucky Derby. Cherie may be a good bet to be the first. 23 stakes wins, Grade 1 winners, and She Feels Pretty and Vava. Now, don't forget, we've got opening day today at Churchill Downs. Looking very forward to it. First post at 12:45. Oaks and Derby draw after race number 3. And for the first time since 2010, we will be racing live tomorrow, Sunday. Again, first post at 12:45. Day racing today. The draw between races 3 and 4. That'll be about 2 o'clock Eastern time. It'll be streamed live everywhere you're watching this Kentucky Derby morning workout show. Oaks first, followed by the Kentucky Derby. We'll have the post position set. That draw, of course, is brought to us by Ford. All right, we've got the track maintenance continuing here as we are just moments away from the designated training time for the Oaks and Derby horses. Again, coming up at 7:15. Good time for us to take a short break. We'll be back as the Derby and Oaks horses await their opportunity. Back in a sec.
When it comes to horse racing, you can never have too much information. With Twin Spires, you can place your bets with confidence. Whether you use handicapping insights like our Brisnet speed ratings, prime power and past performances, the guidance of our experts' top picks, or just choose a name that catches your eye.
Yes!
No matter how you pick your horse, bet with Twin Spires. And now you can race to victory with Twin Spires tournaments.
With over 200 flavor notes to discover, every sip of Woodford Reserve Bourbon is a spectacle for the senses.
Before we get to the live training session, we're going to take a look at the Kentucky Oaks, which will be drawn right after race number 3 today, just before the Kentucky Derby. Looking forward to getting those post positions. Again, the designated training time now just seconds away as the horses are awaiting the opportunity to get on the track as they finish manicuring it after the break. And there you see an Oaks contender there getting prepared. The pink saddle towels, obviously for the Oaks, and the highlighter yellow for the Kentucky Derby. Let's take a look at the Kentucky Oaks points leaderboard. Remember, only 14 for the Oaks versus 20 for the Kentucky Derby. Kevin, and if you ask 5 different people, you might get 5 different answers. Morning line favorite is one question, and obviously post-time favorite might be another.
Yeah, and then in terms of the works yesterday, there was 3 highlight works, meaning Bella Ballerina and Prom Queen. Everybody is raving about those 3, so that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah, so that's just 3, and there's four others that could probably go favorite or at least take a lot of action. Lots in the single-digit odds range is what we're expecting for a wide-open Kentucky Derby 152. All right, we're going to take another quick break here because the horses are getting set to come on the track. They got to wait for the tractors first, though. Still got a couple of minutes. Gives us an opportunity to take another short break here on the Kentucky Derby Morning Workout Show. The most exciting 15 minutes yet to come.
When it comes to horse racing, you can never have too much information. With Twin Spires, you can place your bets with confidence. Whether you use handicapping insights like our Brisnet speed ratings, prime power and past performances, the guidance of our experts' top picks, or just choose a name that catches your eye. Yes! No matter how you pick your horse, bet with Twin Spires. And now you can race to victory with Twin Spires tournaments.
Elegance is an attitude.
All right, we are back on the Kentucky Derby Morning Workout Show, and we saw the Brad Cox duo of Further Ado and Commandment work earlier this morning. There is full effort, and he's expected to breeze here during this designated training period. And Kevin, you know, it's well documented. He's never run in a pari-mutuel horse race on the dirt, but he has blossomed over the last several months at Turfway Park. Now coming back to dirt where he's trained just great. You wouldn't know it by the way he's worked.
Absolutely. I think he is just a racehorse, something I was stressing last week. You know, we talk about surface so much, but a racehorse is a racehorse. You can put him on anything, and they're going to run. He's looked fantastic making his rounds in the mornings. They've had the draw reins in. He's had his neck bowed, and he's just, I think he's a headstrong horse who's looking to race a week from today. So full effort, a price horse, likely the longest price from the Cox trio, who's really coming into a big race. And I think he was against that track bias at Turfway last out. I thought that was a big effort.
We see some Oaks fillies. I believe this might be Bottle of Rouge for Bob Baffert. Yeah.
Joe, she's not a big filly, but she's got a big heart. You've seen Bob pair her with a lot of big colts, litmus tests, others in the morning. And, of course, she got it done in the Virginia Oaks. She maybe beat the Dazzling Dame, who went a little bit too fast early in that one, but she's just got a big heart. She's proven it time and again. So she's on the outside looking in, but you know she's going to give an honest effort.
Horses slowly working their way, and we're not the only ones that are excited to be doing what we're doing this morning. Even your exercise riders are taking it all in and trying to capture it on photo as we see Dan and Bourbon moving on to the racetrack for the first time. He just arrived yesterday. Maybe we can bring Caitlin in here, tell us a little bit more about Dan and Bourbon. I think, well, we're going to do that in a second. Let's go to Full Effort because he's going to work. We'll bring Caitlin back on in a moment to talk about Dan and Bourbon once we get a better look at him. This is going to be Edwin Vargas aboard for the work, the regular exercise rider for Brad Cox aboard Full Effort. And again, Kevin, we've liked the way the horse has been moving on the track. Brad doing a little bit more in this final work than maybe some of the other trainers. We saw a couple 5 furlong moves earlier today. Will be very interesting to see what he does with Full Effort.
Yeah, going with, I believe, was it Direct Strike last week?
Last time, yeah.
Yeah, and he went fantastic. So a sharp move, very quick time, last out. You got to think that he just wanted to get him to relax. They've had the draw reins in. They've had him just sort of as a headstrong horse, trying to get him to stay within himself and not do too much. I think the way that he goes here will be very telling. If he can relax, it's going to be key. But he has been showing tons of energy. El Jefe, Edwin Vargas, has been very excited about what he's been feeling underneath him.
No, he looks great this morning. He's got that controlled energy. It's a beautiful morning, not too warm out there as we send it back to Rosie. What are you seeing from Full Effort as he gets prepared for this workout?
Yeah, I mean, just looks like a class horse. He's moving really well. Looks happy to be here. And we'll see if he's going to give us a show in his breeze. But just a nice warm-up while they jog on the outside of the track, what we call the wrong way. And he'll be approaching me in just a second. I also have Potente jogging right below me at the moment. So we're going to see a bunch of workers coming up. They're all heading in my direction over here on the front side. Full Effort, looks like he's having a nice warm-up. They're probably going to turn around and maybe stand for a second. And all these workers coming out at the same time, they'll all try to position themselves so they can go one at a time as planned.
If you're a fan of horse racing, Kevin, you see all the people there, Full Effort, going right by the stands. You can come here to Churchill Downs. There's free parking. Come in on Longfield. You can watch this training. I mean, people don't get an opportunity to do this every day. Training in the morning without the Derby and Oaks horses on the track is fantastic. You come out to the racetrack a lot, but to get this opportunity up close to these Oaks and Derby horses and watch them train, what a great experience for the fans.
Yeah, this creates lifetime fans when you come out here and see them in the morning and get excited. You see their names, you know who they are, you get to focus your attention on. And as far as I understand it, a bunch of St. Agnes kids were out here yesterday, and they did not get in trouble for showing up to school late. So I think the local schools understand if you come out and join us in the morning. So bring your kids out here to really get them pumped about this great tradition here in Louisville.
Yeah, so many great traditions in Louisville, wrapped around the Kentucky Derby. The city more than embraces it, obviously, and the horse racing industry very strong here in the state of Kentucky as well. Throw it back to Rosie. We saw what he did, Rosie, going the wrong way. He just kind of stood and looked for a moment. Now he's going to head back the other way to get ready for his breeze. And again, not getting too riled up at all. I mean, he's very under control, but still has that energy that you like to see.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to take their time getting to the pole, and we'll see if they're going to turn loose from the pony and have a gallop to the pole, or if she'll take him all the way. He's nice and relaxed. He looks like he's being quite rideable and cooperative here. The pony's having a nice little canter over there, and like I said, they're taking their time.
Explain, Rosie, if there's a workmate and we don't know necessarily yet, the workmate is not pictured. They're not like moving together, getting ready to work together. Maybe the workmate is waiting for Full Effort, but how does that work when there's a workmate, when they kind of orchestrate that?
Usually they'll be pretty close. Full Effort is in fact out here looking like he's going to work by himself.
Yeah.
I don't see anybody else around with him, but Yeah, if you've got a workmate, you'll have the workmate close by, usually within a couple lengths of each other, so they can stay together and time things right going to the pole.
Full effort getting prepared for this breeze. Kevin, what would be exactly what you're looking to see from this horse, particularly now that it doesn't look like he's going to go in company?
You know, what I like to watch, as Rosie talks about when she's looking at these works, is what are the rider's hands doing? Where's his weight shifting back, forward, etc.? How much of a hold does he have? What the rhythm and the reach of the stride, as well as the ears. So it's different for each horse. It's different for each breeze. I just kind of want to watch it and assess it. Is sort of how I take my look at these works, and we'll figure it out from there. So, but I mean, just relaxed yet fast, I think, is what I'd say, Joe.
Yeah, ready to break off here from the 4.5 furlongs, and Rosie getting ready to start this breeze.
Yeah, he's approaching the 5/8 pole now, but he's just keeping him under wraps, so he's gonna just go slowly down to the 4.5. Usually he'll start picking up the work at the 4.5. So they're breezing at the half-mile pole. And so you can see him kind of settling into a pace here. His rider's sitting against him. Doesn't look like they're going fast. But he's, he looks respectful, easy to ride. His rider's just sitting on him. They are picking up the pace now a little bit, settling into the turn.
Rosie, when you see a turf horse work, they've got a different kind of action, a lot of them up front. I don't see that turfy action necessarily up front with this horse.
Yeah, I mean, he's stretching out pretty well. He actually looks like this work's picking up to get a little bit stronger coming into the lane. And he's just cruising. But yeah, like a lot of times you'll see like real high knee action with a horse that runs on the turf. They get along a little quicker on the turf when they have that type of action. But this horse looks fine the way he's moving. Just an easy half. His rider gave him a little bit of nudge before the wire, and it looks like he's asking him to gallop out here after the wire. He's actually probably the quickest he's been yet after the wire here.
Yeah, it looked like he just was very composed early on, definitely had a little bit of a hold on him to keep him relaxed, and he gave him his head. You could see his ears were very happy early, pinned him down for that move in the stretch, and yeah, you can see the ears again. He's waiting instructions. How far are we going? What are we doing here? He's got a ton here in this gallop out. I think this is a very solid move. We'll see the times, but this is well within himself, Joe.
How much have these dirt works erased any concerns that you've had over this only being a horse that's run on synthetics?
I have no concern about that.
None?
I have no concern about that. I just don't. I mean, my read on it, Joe, is that he was a light 2-year-old, and so they thought he's talented. Let's keep him on the turf. That makes sense in terms of having success on that surface. He's filled out. He's gotten bigger. He's a racehorse. He's impressed me many times. I think he's going to run his race.
Only run on synthetics this year as a 3-year-old. His first 4 starts were on the turf. Actually broke his maiden back at Kentucky Downs in September, followed up with another win at Turfway. And if it's not broke, don't try to fix it. He knew that he could get this horse potentially through the path at Turfway Park to make it into the Derby and then run on the dirt the first Saturday in May. So this isn't different from what other times Brad Cox has accomplished the same task.
He's got a lot of strong 3-year-olds. He's got to find his spots. He's got to keep them separate. He's going to use all these different tracks and these different prep races to get here. So that made sense for a full effort to be the one coming through Turfway. So happy. Or Right to Party.
We got Right to Party here. Right to Party's going to work. We got Right to Party here. Now, as we send it back up to Rosie, you got a pony on the inside, you get another horse on the outside. Talk a little bit about this orchestration.
Yeah, I mean, this is how they're going to set it up to make sure these two stay together. It almost looks like the pony is ponying both horses.
Yeah.
Or Right to Party is ponying the workmate. But they're going to stay right together around this, the first turn here. And they keep it slow so they can keep everybody under control. And the horses really, like, if you have them under wraps and you're just at it like a slow canter, you're going to have an easier time getting there together. The more you open up the stride, the more it's a little bit challenging to stay right together. It looks like they are moving a little bit closer to the rail early on, approaching the 3/4 pole.
Rosie, real quick here. So Chip Honcho worked. Hopefully we get a look at that. We will later. We've got full effort times He wound up working 47-2, 59 for the 5 furlongs, 111-3, Kevin. Those are really nice times. And it was 12-4 early, 24-3, then really started to pick it up like we saw in video after that. We'll get Kevin's thoughts on Full Effort, Rosie's as well. But right now it is Right to Party. And Kevin, he is on the inside in this work.
Yeah, he's on the inside. So we'll see how the rider is asking that outside workmate. Is he urging him? Is he trying to prompt Right to Party to really push the work to go fast? Are they just staying relaxed? And is that workmate keeping him honest? It looks like a little bit of action with the arms on the workmate as he really eyes him there. And when they're looking eye to eye, Joe, they're just going to go a little bit faster, as opposed to staying a little bit away from each other. So it looks like they're trying to do a good amount with Right to Party. It's my first read early in this work.
All right, Rosie, what are you seeing?
Well, I can tell you from when they broke off very strong. They actually started to pick it up more toward the 3/4 pole. So it looks like they're looking for quite a strong work here. And the track is obviously very fast. I would have never guessed Full Effort went that fast. But Right to Party looks good inside the workmate. They're both look like they're well in hand, striding out well. I like the nice stride that Right to Party has. His rider's just asking him to poke his nose in front here at the wire, which he will, and allowing to gallop out.
Pretty decent effort from the workmate, too, it looked to me. I mean, I want to know who that horse is. Hopefully we can find out.
Yeah, he was with Very Connected last week. I'm not sure if that's who that is there. Yeah, you can see the workmates and the rider on the workmates doing a very good job, really waiting for Right to Party to finish strong and not continue to urge, keeping that confidence up. Confidence is a big part of these moves. They want to build the confidence going into the race, not blow it out of the water. So Robbie Alvarado up on Right to Party.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, rider of Curlin, so many great horses.
Yeah.
Great having him as a part of this Derby leading up to it.
Yeah, a big part of the Kenny McPeak team is Robbie Alvarado giving his thoughts to Kenny in the barn and then getting on a lot of the better horses as well. All right, moments ago we had Chip Honcho work. He is drawn into the Kentucky Derby field. They talked about running in the Preakness instead. Maybe the lack of speed and the way this horse has been doing has convinced them to give the Kentucky Derby a try. And this was just moments ago. Kevin, you see the gray horse on the inside serving as a sparring partner for Chip Honcho.
Yeah, he got his head for a little bit now. He's reining back, trying to keep him even, not go too fast early. Time, of course, is key. Chip Honcho, He's quite the machine. He's a big dude, and he's been showing himself in the mornings. I think he could have a really good career. We'll see if the Derby is going to be where they keep him, but they've been eyeball to eyeball pretty much throughout early in this work. Rosie, do you think that signals that they're trying to do a lot here? What's your read?
Well, if I know Steve Asmussen, they want a 1/2 and 50 every time before the race. I mean, you could tell they wanted to start off easy in that breeze, and here they're just in hand. These riders, all of Steve's work riders, are just absolute masters of the craft, and they're just going to stay together, keep Chip Honcho interested with the workmate, very evenly matched pair, just coming in hand to the wire. And I actually saw this work live, and it looked really great. It looked like exactly what they're looking for.
I mean, Chip Honcho is a horse that I think is still one-dimensional. Mentally, maybe he's not there in terms of stop and starting, which is a key attribute in a Kentucky Derby horse, able to get blocked and rebuild a move. We saw it in Louisiana Derby when he got stopped at the top of the stretch. He couldn't muster another rally, so he would definitely be part of the pace. I think he's a very strong runner. He needs to have things go his own way a little bit, which could be tough on that first Saturday in May.
Again, galloping out 126 here for 7 furlongs, 113-2 prior to that. 13-1, 25-3, 37-3, minute and 4/5 for Chip Honcho outside of the workmate for trainer Steve Asmussen. Albus is going to work tomorrow. We saw Right to Party. We've seen Chip Honcho. We've seen Full Effort. Riley Mott was kind of waiting to see. He wanted to work Monday, then he thought about moving it up to Sunday, maybe even Saturday with Albus and his other runner, Incredible. Out for a nice gallop here this morning, though, Kev.
This is a strong gallop. You can see just the way that he's feeling very confident with the footing here at Churchill Downs and grabbing forward. Nice reach. I think this is a good... Yeah, he's moving well. I mean, I think he could have a really big 3-year-old year. I'm not sure if this is his time now, but I think this is a very talented horse.
Yeah, this is not a horse that costs millions of dollars, Rosie. They've already got a bargain buy in Albus, who, has done everything right here. The question is he as good as a lot of the other horses going to face in the Kentucky Derby? Because honestly, from what I've seen, he couldn't be doing any better.
Yeah, he looks great here out on the track, and I did see this pair went to school in the paddock this morning on the front side. So they're getting their schooling in there, and looks like he had a really nice gallop, just kind of low key, which is great that he'll train that way. You know, if you have a horse that's kind to ride and doesn't overdo it, then that's kind of a gift as a trainer, to make sure they're not taking too much out of themselves and being kind to their bodies.
Exercise rider Antonio Garcia for Albus. Charlotte O'Connell is the regular exercise rider for Riley Mott's other runner, Incredible. Tommy Torres scheduled to breeze this one later this weekend. And there is Incredible. Moments ago, he got his work done, Kevin. Now he's heading off the track.
Heading off the track, yeah. This is, I think, the stronger of the two Riley Mott trainees, both Pin Oak stud owned, and just got to sing the praises of Pin Oak stud. Talk about a ownership group from yearlings all the way to aftercare. They just keep the best of the horse in mind. So I'm so happy that they have two in the Kentucky Derby. I think this is going to be an ownership group that continues to make us feel good as well as bring us good horses.
Winner of the Wood Memorial, last horse to win the Wood and then win the Kentucky Derby, Fusaichi Pegasus, back in the year 2000. Of course, Funny Side finished second, won the Derby in 2003. Between 2004 and 2024, only one Wood starter, Tacitus, has finished in the top three in the Kentucky Derby. So it hasn't been a great prep, Kevin, but again, we're talking about Incredible. I'm talking about, the stablemate Albus. We don't have a long history in the Virginia Derby.
I think Incredible could put the Virginia Derby on the map as one like, oh, wait a minute. All right, this can be a key way to get to it, because he looked so good in that race. And I think he's much better than people are giving credit for.
All right, we've got some Oaks horses training and working this morning as well to get a look at Pashmina. Kevin and I were talking off camera. We got to see her early in the 3-year-old season, late in the 2-year-old season at Fairgrounds. She ran well in one of our local preps, but she's gotten a lot better since then for Rob Atras.
She's continued to get better, and that's what you want. She's an interesting entry here in the Kentucky Oaks. Pashmina looked very impressive breaking her maiden. She was big, you could tell. I think she looks fitter than I've seen her in the past. She tried to wire that field last out in the Gazelle. She did get taken on by Always a Runner. She got a little lost. Maybe she took a weird step, jumped a shadow. Not quite sure in the stretch, but it was great to see her really being on the engine in the Gazelle. Rob Atras trained. She's got a look, Joe. I think she's interesting.
Yeah, she was third in the Untappable final start of the 2-year-old year, and fourth in the Silver Bullet Day. Most recently, second. Looked like she was going to win the Gazelle. Rosie, you know a thing or two about the fillies winning the Kentucky Oaks. Here's Pashmina. What are you seeing? And tell us a little bit about a difference about the mindset and the attitudes of the fillies versus the colts.
The fillies can sometimes be a little bit more sensitive. They always say if you have a really good mare, they're gonna fight for you. They can be a little bit. You have to ask instead of tell them what to do. So choose your words
wisely here, Rosie.
Yeah. You want to be able to get along with a filly. That was definitely the case for actually both Believe You Can and Untappable. Believe You Can was just kind of aggressive, so you had to finesse her a little bit there. And Untappable was pretty sensitive in the bridle, so she was kind of a fragile ride at times too. But the work with Pashmina, she looked like she was pretty nice to ride. Came down the stretch just easy, and she looked to be moving well.
Let's switch gears over to Brad Cox. We saw his Derby trio work this morning, most recently Full Effort. Let's take a look back at his filly from yesterday, a horse I am personally very high on. You mentioned how strong this work was earlier in the show, Kevin. Prom Queen, she's going 59-4, and again, this occurred yesterday morning.
Look at her reach. She's got long legs, Joe. She's very scopy, and she just extends them. So another quick time, another big workout. You can see by the daylight, this is later in the day, and this is what she's been doing morning in and morning out, coming out later in the morning, and it's based off the fact that she's just, skittish, nervous. She looks around. She's really could get spooked in terms of things popping up at her. So she's got that mental question mark for me. How is she going to handle that crowd on Kentucky Oaks Day? She's definitely got the talent, and she's showing us that she's moving forward. Lightly raced as well.
All right, Rosie, quickly on Prom Queen here as we see her getting closer to the finish line.
Yeah, it looked like a really nice breeze. I mean, strong from the beginning and looked like she just worked really even. She seems like she might be a little aggressive, but and a really nice gallop out here around the turn.
She's won her last 2 in dominant fashion in South Florida. Let's find out what Brad Cox has to say about how she's coming up to the Kentucky Oaks.
It was a really good breeze. Had her 5/8 in around a minute. Galloped out really well. Very, very steady. Big gallop out, well in hand though, so happy with the breeze. Rider was super pleased with her, and I think she's set up for a big run. You get, something out of these works, and they're just maintenance works at this point anyhow, and, they're all set up for big runs and run within 4 to 6 weeks of their last start, all 4 of them, and we're excited about where we are with all these Oaks and Derby horses.
Trainer Brad Cox has won the Kentucky Oaks 3 times. And he's looking to do it again. We're not talking about a long time period either. I mean, he's been dominant in this race. And, Prom Queen certainly looks like one that is going to be a major player. He's also got Paradise for the Oaks this year, Kevin.
Yeah, we'll see if Paradise, she worked great recently, if she goes in the 8 Bells or goes in the Kentucky Oaks. Do you feel as confident about a filly like Prom Queen as Good Cheer, who won it last year for Brad?
I actually picked against Good Cheer.
That was silly.
Yeah, it turned out to be. There's no question about it.
With a short price, though.
Exactly, and there you go. There's the difference. So you got to pick between several legitimate Oaks contenders. We could start trying to predict prices on these horses, right? I mean, are you going to get 6 to 1?
It's so hard
on a horse like Prom Queen.
Nick Tamro's got his work cut out
for him. Mike Diliberto style, a lot of 6 and 8 to 1s, I'm guessing. But that would be the right way to go in this line because it's tough to really figure out who the favorite's going to be. They're not going to be defined. I'm guessing Nick's going to go 3 to 1, maybe even 7 to 2.
The way that Chad Brown's been talking, always a runner is going to take more and more money. He's really hyping up his filly.
All right, Potente is a horse that got an opportunity to see train. There he is right there. And, we'll see how this plays out for this Bob Baffert trainee, second most recently as the 6 to 5 favorite in the Santa Anita Derby, Kevin. He's got some speed from the gate. Only 3 starts, but 6 furlongs, mile and a 16th, mile and an 8th last time out.
Santa Anita Derby, I mentioned that So Happy had that perfect setup. Potente was doing the dirty work. He went to the lead, pressed by Robusta, who I saw on the track here today. Headed, fights back, dueling, puts that one away out of the turn, then taken on by So Happy. I thought he engaged nicely, and I thought he won the gallop out. So that was cool to see. I don't think distance is necessarily going to be a question for Potente. And, of course, Bob Baffert knows how to win the Kentucky Derby.
Again, $2.4 million worth of racehorse in Potente. And, Rosie, can you tell by the way a horse trains, in their works, in their gallops, if they're going to show speed in a race like the Kentucky Derby, and then on actual Derby day during the warm-up, horses that show speed, do they get a little bit more of a vigorous warm-up?
Yeah, I would probably definitely, if I'm riding a horse, regularly, I would always prefer to turn my horses loose from the pony in the post read and get them a good warm up. But for a horse that does have a lot of speed, he really trains quite agreeable. He doesn't look overly aggressive. His rider's just kind of sitting up there, and he looks happy with his ears pricked. So he's taking in the scenery, but not an overly aggressive horse training here in the morning.
He was on the lead in the debut go in 6 furlongs. Then he sat a little bit off the pace when he won the San Felipe on the lead, but kind of alternating on the lead in the most recent start in the Santa Anita Derby. And I agree with you, Kevin. He was game to the wire that particular day. He got bested in the final 16th of a mile by the eventual winner, So Happy. But we'll see how he winds up showing himself in the Kentucky Derby.
He cuts a nice picture. He does look like he's moving very well, confidently. Looks very, very filled out. He looked good there, Joe.
Yeah, Rosie made a good point about him being very agreeable in his training. All right, some great Twin Spires promotions to look forward to opening weekend. Some great opportunities to take advantage of some of the other things they have to offer on the website and the app. The Bet Back Starts tonight, Kevin. Again, if you bet a horse $10 to win, they run second or third, you'll get up to $10 back. It's some insurance on those win bets. Starts today all the way through Kentucky Derby Saturday.
Yeah, take advantage of this. This is opt in right now as we're speaking. Get on your app, get on the website and opt in and fire away. It's that first win bet that you make, and you can do it with a different sort of confidence. Maybe you just want to put all your money on that win side of things, knowing that you've got the insurance as opposed to win place show.
Now, if you're looking for bigger scores, Twin Spires Parlay Central lets you stack expert picks into one powerful bet. Win one race, roll it on to the next. Not consecutive races like a pick three. These are different races throughout the card. Bigger risk, bigger reward. Try Parlay Central today at Twin Spires. All right, so getting a good look here at the backstretch. And Kevin, I'm going to make my backstretch trek on Monday morning after the show. We don't race live that particular day. Really take everything in. Everybody's going to be here. You see the media out there. You see the fans out there. You see the radio and TV stations starting to gather. It's just a great time of year. And like I said earlier, the momentum just continues to build.
Yeah, it does, Joe. I mean, it's just a fun time to be here. Commandments, Gallop Out impressed me in a big way. Full Efforts work looked sensational. Good to see Potente there. He's continuing to catch my eye. And I talked to Brendan Walsh earlier when he was on his pony about Bella Ballerina's work. He was so impressed with her in that move. It was a sharp time, well within herself. And he says blinkers are going to be off for Bella Ballerina and the Kentucky Oaks. So that's interesting to know.
A lot of people talking about that work from her from yesterday. One of many Kentucky Oaks fillies who looks to be a major player. We're going to send it to Rosie Napravnik. Rosie, I liked everything I saw today. It's really tough to poke any holes in these Oaks and Derby contenders.
Yeah, the well-anticipated Commandment and Further Ado works were nice to see. I was super impressed by Further Ado, but also really liked Commandment's work, and he had a decent gallop out. We also got to take a look at Don and Bourbon, who I think is just absolutely looks the part. So looking to see more from him tomorrow, and hopefully we'll get to see him gallop. But yeah, a lot of really great horses training out here. Everybody looked really great. Potente, looks like he's galloping nicely. And we also saw Pashima looked good. Pashmina looked great. That was another one that I really liked. So we'll throw it back to Caitlin and see what your final thoughts are.
Thank you, Rosie. I echo everything you said with Denon Bourbon. He's a brick house. He is a gorgeous looking son of Maxfield. So excited to see more from him. Going to catch up with Bupat Seymour a little bit later on and get a video for you guys tomorrow. Just his thoughts on 6-Speed, how he shipped here, the quarantine process, all of that stuff. So looking forward to that, but also looking forward to live racing in the draw coming up in just a few hours. So we're going to send it on back to Ren to wrap us up here on the backside.
Thank you, Caitlin. I'm back here at Brad Cox's barn. Team Starlight Racing right over here. And behind me, we've got Full Effort, fresh off the track from his work. And I talked to Edwin Vargas. He said that he did it easy. So things are getting very exciting back here. So much more to come. I'm going to do my rounds. Joe, Kevin, back to you.
All right, thank you, Ren, Caitlin, and Rosie. As we get closer, Kevin, to first post, 12:45 at Churchill Downs today, the Kentucky Oaks and Derby draw, which will be brought to you between races 3 and 4. You can catch that on all the same channels you're watching us right now. And 10-race card at Churchill, and I can't wait to get live racing going. And obviously the draw, super excited for that.
Yeah, we'll be back at these same spots for the race day, at least for the first 5, and then Tony Kalo joining you for the second. So let's start putting these opinions into the windows and see if we can make some money.
Yeah, it's not easy to sort out the Derby, but the Oaks certainly is going to be a challenge. If you get it right, you're going to get paid. All right, we are back tomorrow. We're looking very forward to another edition of the Kentucky Derby Morning Workout Show. We saw some great action today from the Brad Cox trio and a whole lot more. Looking forward to that draw and live racing at Churchill Downs. It all starts at 12:45 Eastern. Have a good day.